My principal role in this meeting is just keeping time, but I thought it would be worthwhile just presenting some of the reasons why this meeting is happening in Buffalo, in some sense of in. Some of you, I think, know Buffalo is one of the centers of activity when it comes to ontology. And for many years, we worked primarily in the ontology of medicine and biology. And we created the idea that a good ontology would consist of suites of ontologies which are developed in tandem with each other. And this was the idea of the Obo Foundry. And this led to the creation of two efforts, one by the NIH. It was funded, I don't know, $18 million or something, for the National Center for Biomedical Ontology, which included two prominent medical schools plus the UB Department of Philosophy as the principal sites. And then simultaneously, we founded the National Center for Ontological Research, which was focused on areas outside biology and medicine. And most recently, we've been working with industry and with the Defense Department and other similar organizations. And that they proposed that the ontology, which we use as the combination vehicle for all of these suites of ontologies which are being developed, namely basic formal ontology, should become an international standard. So, and it now has been approved as an international standard. It will be published any week now. And we believe that this is the first piece of philosophy which proved itself useful enough that it could go through the process of being standardized by ISO. And so now there are more than 350 ontology initiatives which use BFO. And there is a guidebook, how to use BFO. And then we have various ontologies. And one of them is PhilOnto. Now we'll hear from Colin later today about Inphil, which is and forgive me if I get this wrong, Colin, it's a cloud-sourced, or anyway, people-driven ontology of philosophy. PhilPapers has a partially author-driven and partially editor-driven classification of philosophy. I think the editors probably play more of a role than the authors, because the editors decide what subclasses of given classification entries should obtain. And David Chalmers then plays a role because he manages all the editors. And then PhilOnto is an ontology which is built by ontologists on the basis of ontological principles, starting out from BFO. And I wanted to say just one more thing. So this is where you can find PhilOnto, or at least a paper describing it. In this issue of Synthèse, which was edited by Colin, there is also a paper on Inphil. And this is the sort of thing that you can do with PhilOnto. So you can list all the instances of philosophers, for instance, or you can describe subcategories between different parts of philosophers. It's very large, so you can only see a tiny fraction. This is just philosophical fields here, and you're seeing a tiny fraction. And then there are subtypes of philosophers, and there's a tiny fraction of that list here. So we're quite pleased with the ontology, but unfortunately, we didn't have any money to use it to tag philosophical papers or philosophical persons. But on the other hand, PhilPapers was supremely successful in getting a tagging system off the ground. The problem is that tagging system is caught within PhilPapers itself, where there are external resources, and I want to mention just one now, which should be tagged also, and PhilPapers doesn't have money to do this either. So the philosophy family tree is a gigantic database of philosophers organized by the supervisor of LINC. And you can find it at this link here. I now own the software for Philosophy Family Tree, but anyone who is interested in using it and in making it more public and in restoring the workings of the wiki, which was created by the original creator of the Philosophy Family Tree, is welcome to contact me. So you can find the relevant links here. It looks like this. So all of these dots are instances of the type philosopher. It looks like this when it's presented as a tabbed list. which you can generate from the tree. And this is the whole graph. And each node is a doctor Vater. And then all the things around that node are his or her students, and so on. So, and if you go far enough, you can actually read the names. So this is the Brentano school. Okay, that's enough philosophy.